What's up, YouTube fam? Clint Lund here with LundMX, back with another video. Today, guys, we are working on the 2014 Kx250. So if you saw the vlog from last Supercross weekend, as soon as I came home, I don't even know where I put it. Oh, here it is. Brand new cylinder works. Cylinder for said Kx250f. I was waiting on this. I'm stoked it's here, so I'm going to put the top end on and get some other shenanigans going. Like, we got sprockets, we got chain, and whatever else I can find that I can put on this bike. So, get pumped up. Let's get going. Alright guys, so here's the rear wheel. We are going to be using that Dirt Tricks sprocket. We're going with the 52 tooth. And a couple cool things. One of the things I love about Honda wheels is Honda always throws on these rubber grommets that go on the valve stem, and it allows the valve stem to have some flex so it doesn't rip the valve stem out if your tire gets too low. And so these offer a little bit of cushion, plus it keeps the lock nut on the valve stem from scratching into your rim. So it's just a cool, cheap little, I think it was like $3 on Rocky Mountain's website, so I got those. And of course some brand new primary drive hardware for the sprocket, again from Rocky Mountain. So cool thing about these, and a lot of companies are doing it now these days, but I love it, is they put on the permanent red Loctite on these already for you, and so you don't have to go and put it on there and make a mess yourself, because that's usually what happens. You get all over your fingers and all over your workpiece, and then it just looks nasty. So we're gonna get all of these in, and I put on the original rear rotor because I have something up my sleeve with some Cerakoting, and I'll tell you guys about that in a second. But I don't want to jump the gun, so instead, putting these brand new. And I do recommend, guys, anytime that you go in with a new sprocket, always use new hardware. These things oval out and they stretch, and from reusing the hardware, it's just not a good idea. It's like $10, guys, seriously. It's not even a big deal. I don't even think it is $10. It's probably cheaper from other, places, but I know on Rocky Mountain site, these things are worth every penny, because just having new sprocket bolts in there all the time, just keep this hub, at the right torque, and it'll make the hub last a long time. So it's a good thing. Just get you guys some new hardware. Stretch a bit, so even it when I'll tighten it a bit. Even it when So I'm going to go a little bit tighter than recommended, because I know this chain's going to stretch, especially with the 51 tooth or 52 tooth sprocket. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 6 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
get the drop back. When you,
yeah, that's right. I'm going a little tight. Feel on tight. Boom. And this chain is the primary drive, double gold plated. So the inner link and the outer link is all gold plated. So that's nice. Got it set just a little bit tighter than 3 fingers. It's like kind of like 3.5, but that chain's going to stretch, so it should be good, and it looks great. All right, guys, what's up next is to put on our brand new Vertex piston kit and follow it up with that brand new cylinder work cylinder. Let's go. So here's a shot of the original cylinder, which is now NFG. Basically, it just inhaled a bunch of sand, and now I got nice vertical marks, as you guys can see there, right here. So that is on both the exhaust side, that'd be exhaust right there, and intake side. Both are just so ground away by not having a filter in the airbox when at the sand dunes. So that negates the brand new cylinder from Cylinder Works. So goodbye old cylinder. I'd say that the exhaust side is almost worst. It's really bad. You can feel it with your fingernails pretty good. The lighting's not superb, but I think you guys get the clue. Here's a good shot. Yep, NFG. So we'll get that new one on. So here's our brand new Vertex piston, showing you guys in previous videos. Vertex is the choice piston for KTMs. All OEM equipment and KTMs is Vertex. So a little food for knowledge out there. So this thing's got a really nice finish on it. I love the Teflon coated skirts, and it's just the quality is really, really nice. So to get this thing ready, steps we got to take is I like to take out one of these rings, and that will be opposite the side I'm going to be pushing in the piston. So look for the exhaust side, always has an arrow on it. You guys see that arrow right there? Right there, that arrow? That points to exhaust. And you can always tell too, because intake valves are always bigger than the exhaust. So if you never have an arrow on yours, just know that the bigger valves are intakes, smaller valves are exhaust. So I'm going to be putting it in this direction, which means I'm going to put the circlip in this side first. Usually I can get this done by hand, but this is a pretty tight recess in here. So I might need the help of a pick or something like that to get it all the way in. Let's see. Yep, need a pick. One sec. Alright, so I just got a little baby flathead screwdriver, just a little bit stronger than my fingernails. And we're going to push this down into place. This isn't as critical as the 2-stroke pistons. If you scratch the side of a 2-stroke piston, you have to be really freaking careful, but because this is just, this isn't any part of the sealing surface. You can kind of be a little bit rougher with it, but still take precaution, guys. Don't hammer it trying to get in there. Be gentle. These machines are meant to scream thousands of RPMs, and you don't want anything misaligned or broken or scratched. So there we go, it's in the groove now. And that's seated all the way around. Robert's over there throwing my tools. He's trying to get that airbox clean, get all the sand out of it. So there, you can see it's set in the groove all the way around. So now we can put the pin through on this side, and I'll show you guys how to do the rings, which is easy after you've done it a few times. So we'll go ahead and open up the rings here. Now, we don't need to gap these. They're already pre-gapped from the factory. So don't need to worry about that on this. So in the kit here, we have our oiler ring, oiler baffle ring. I've heard it called a couple different things. And then the 2 that go around it. And then the scraper, which is also, in this case, there's, on some of the 450s, you have 2 top rings, and one is the top ring, and then the second one's the oil scraper ring. This only has 1 top ring, so that makes it a little easier. So what we do, and inside, I'll note this too, inside the Vertex box, there is actually clocking instructions that you guys have to be very aware of for clocking this top ring in the right spot. So referencing the piston shows that the oiler gap, let's see, it calls it a spacer on this one. So the spacer for the oil baffle comes out on the side. So gently, you do not want to bend this, like, if possible, not at all. Don't bend it. So that needs to come out to the side. And it does like to overlap, so you got to run your fingernail over it, make sure the ends butt up against each other. And then you get one of the other rings here, side rails they call them in here. And one's clocked directly below the split in the spacer oil baffle ring, and then one's clocked to the back. So the bottom one here, put on top. I'm gonna go just off sides of it a little bit. And that tucks under the oil baffle ring. And you have to do it in this order. You cannot put it in the oil baffle ring last because it kind of sits on top of it. Okay, next oiling ring. This one needs to be clocked towards the back. So again, we're going above, or the first time we went below, now we're gonna go above. I know you guys can't really tell, but go with me here. This one goes above the oil baffle ring. Slide that around, drops in, so it looks like focus. It just won't. Too much glare, too much lights, but it's correct. And then the very, very top sealing ring looks like, so there's always a letter on the top of the ring, and right there it says T for top. Again, you guys are just gonna have to take my word for it. And that one faces the opposite side of the oiling ring. So that was over here. Excuse me, it was over here because there's an arrow going forward, so it's right there. I can see it now. And so that goes to the other side. Like that right there. Reason being, you guys don't want the ring split at, you know, either a compression or an exhaust side. You don't want it on the fuel side, you don't want it on the exhaust side for blow-by reasons. So you put them on the sides. Like that right there. Boom. So let's get this puppy in.
To show a range of, yeah.
Alright guys, so we're going to put this piston in now. The crank is at top dead center. It's a lot easier to get the pin through the top of the rod here when it's at top dead center. Otherwise it's darn near impossible. So still referencing that our arrow is still pointed in front. Very important that you guys do that. I'm going to tuck a little rag under here, just so when I try to put this pin in right now, it doesn't ruin my life and drop down below. Because trust me, I've had that happen a time or two. So that's all the way in. Grab our circlip. And this is not easy. Trust me. 2 strokes are way easier than this. And there's actually some other bikes too that are a little bit more recessed than this. This one's not too bad. There we go. Let me just push it into place. It just clicked in nice and loud. So that tells me it's in the groove all the way around, which I can see it is. So that's good. We just make sure our rings didn't spin too much from handling it, which they're about in the same spot. Take that off. And we're ready for the base gasket and then the cylinder.
Just
Alright. base gasket. And this is obvious, you can't get this one wrong. It's got the hole for where the water goes in the cylinder. And we center that over our dowels, the alignment dowels for the cylinder, like that. Alright guys, and with using a brand new cylinder, they don't ever, they do put them in a cleaner, and they clean them out really good, but it's good to take them to your sink with some hot soapy water and wash it out, because sometimes there's burrs or shrapnel shavings inside the water jackets, could be hiding inside some of these, where the bolts and stuff like that go and the head bolts go. So it's a really good idea just to wash it out with hot soapy water and then blow it out with compressed air. And then just in here, I like to use actually a little 2-stroke premix and just lube the cylinder just a little bit, not a lot, but get it so when we first fire up the bike, it has a little lubrication to start with, even though I do like to hold in the kill switch and kick it, a dozen times or so to build up oil pressure before I start it. But definitely want to put some assembly lube in the cylinder beforehand, and it has to be non-synthetic. Synthetic cannot let the ring seat immediately because it's so slippery, so we want to use just a non-synthetic 2-stroke premix oil, or you can even use engine oil as well. So right now I'm just swedging around the 2-stroke premix. Just want to get a nice light glaze of oil on the side here. And you want to make sure not to get it on the sealing surface of the gasket, on the base, and also on the head, because that can cause your head gasket to not seal properly. So be careful about that. You don't want to get oil up there. You want that to be as clean and dry as possible. And not absolutely wipe down your hands, because you're going to be handling the cylinder a lot before you put it on. Alright, now the fun part. So timing chain tensioner goes in here, that faces backward, and then the timing chain guide, you just have to, I push it a little bit forward so it doesn't hit on anything. And then the other guide you don't need to put in yet, that actually goes in after the cylinder is on. And if you guys already knew that, then you guys are legends and have obviously done a couple 4-stroke engines. There we go, and after it's on all the way, you can feel that no rings are binding. You could also look and make sure now the rings have popped out of their ring gaps. You could just slide it down slow, kind of just give it a little working back and forth, a little wiggling. Boom. Just like that, guys. There you go, guys. That's what a proper installed piston looks like. Arrow facing forward. On the Yamahas, I need to point out, Yamahas will be facing that way because that's where your exhaust goes out on Yamahas. So there's our piston. Our timing chain is still tucked down in there. Our timing chain guide is just central right now. And then you can also, get a camera or something like that and look down with the light. Make sure none of the gasket material is overlapping into the threads. And then you guys should be good to go. Of course, I'm still waiting for my cylinder head from Mid-State Cylinder Head, which should be here later on this week. So I'll make sure and get that video going as soon as that head gets here, because then we should be able to start this thing. And Robert's taking apart the Airbox because we got to do a lot of cleaning on all the sand that's inside this poor thing. If you guys don't remember what the Airbox looked like, clean detail on the Airbox, and Look at all the sand, guys. It's really a bummer that this thing had to go through this, but we're gonna get it all clean. Man, it's a bummer. It was just absolutely, had sand everywhere, and as soon as I started this motor, it would have just destroyed it straight out. So it's a good precaution. Get this thing as clean as possible, as brand new looking as possible. So he's separating the halves, gonna take off the air boot, and then we'll be able to clean all the inside of the air boot and the air box, along with all the sensors. And because this is a Kawasaki, has a dual injector, and so there's another injector nozzle inside the air boot itself. So we have to get all that stuff clean. All right, guys, so here is the intake boot removed, and you can see all this hard dried water that's with sand in it too. So it's a mix of beach water, I'm imagining, so salt water and sand, and then there's some up in the top corner, up here, and all the way down here by this air temp sensor. So it's a good thing we took this off and we could clean it. And then here's, you know, the second injector, and so that needs to be cleaned. And then the whole intake boot just has sand around it, and inside it too. This is just powdered sand essentially. So as soon as we started this engine, it just sort of inhaled all this stuff. So we'll get it all clean, clean that injector nozzle, and get this thing looking like brand new again. And we'll put it back in the airbox after the airbox is equally cleaned. All right, guys, so while we're cleaning up the airbox, one of the things I like to do that I'll say right now, I do not advise this because it does go against factory recommendations in a lot of ways. But companies like Twin Air, Mica Metals, or DT1 air filters, they make replacement kits that have no backfire screen. Now, obviously, cutting out your backfire screen like I am, it is a hazard. Now, if you do backfire, it can catch your air filter on fire, which is very bad, let's be honest. And but a properly tuned bike should not be backfiring, and as long as it stays properly tuned, that will not be an issue. So I am cutting out my screen instead of ordering a new one, just because I don't have time really to wait for a new one to come in. We're cleaning the airbox now. I'm going to get it together tonight. But one way to get a little extra horsepower out of your bikes, again, I do not advise this, is to cut out the backfire screen. Now, there's no real clean way of doing this other than get yourself a good pair of scissors like I have here, and start cutting all the way around the gasket here, the plastic gasket, and then we'll have nice breathing room for our 250. A lot of pros do this, a lot of factory teams do this, but like I said, that it's not. They usually take out this whole piece and then they put in a new piece. It's a one-piece thing that has no backfire screen in it. So you guys can look into that and buy one of those, or you can go the poor man's routine and cut it out. Either way, just as effective. Just one definitely looks cleaner than the other, but this will work fine. All right, boys and gems, next up we have this beautiful Tusk off-road case protector. So if you ever derail a chain, this will stop your case from breaking. This is actually a topic of debate between Tyler Anticknap and myself. He likes to not run these because if this packs up with mud up in here, on his Honda anyway, you know, they cut all the wires to the shift sensor on his because they put on a different ignition box. So he runs no chain breaker. He runs no chain guard because he thinks that when the chain does derail, it breaks your case. So he calls it a case breaker. Ty, I know you're seeing this. The argument is still valid. You guys drop it down below. Do case savers save your case, or do they break your case? The case is yours to determine, guys. I just said case a lot of times. Just in case you missed it. We're talking about case breakers or case savers. Which one is it? Might I just say too, I love that this thing comes with supplied hardware. Bling, bling. Take a look at that. Oh, let's get that glimmer again. Here it goes. Ooh. She purty. And it serves a good purpose. To me.
I'm getting soaked.
Surprised this hasn't turned to ice.
There's so much crap in it. You can see the corners there. Just trying to get the corners.
This airbox was bad, guys. Very sandy. That's what we have to resort to. Basically, while the camera was off, just assembling things like getting the mid motor mounts on, tightening the lower motor mount. Now I feel like, you know, it's centered enough in between the swing arm pivot bolt, the lower mount, and the front mount that the head hangers, when they come down, will be in the right spot. And I'm just kind of picking through all the stuff I got from Rinse Rabbit, making sure it's all on here. Also going through everything that I got from Rocky Mountain, anything that I can utilize right now, just putting it on. Brake lines obviously are going to come later because I have some info. He's still washing the airbox. Now, I would love to say that I just shot that last shot like 5 minutes ago, but in all honesty, it was like 15-20 minutes ago. There's just so much sand mixed with filter grease, filter oil, and God knows what else. And it created like this gum, this sandy beach gum that he was scratching out with a screwdriver for probably about an hour to get the bulk of it out, but now it's all just stuck. And we're using the purple degreaser that I love and use so often. Not product endorsing here, guys, or sponsored in any way, but just Purple Power. You know, we got a giant jug of that stuff, and he sprayed it. He's been scratching at it, and now he's just trying to rinse it out, and it's so bad. And I'm glad that we're taking these extra steps. We removed all the filter housing, and he completely went through and like made those like brand new again. The screen I cut out of the Backfire screen. I'm trying to do this one-handed here, but this is what's left of the Backfire screen. You have to be really careful and get all of these little metal, you know, braids that are left over, because if you don't, those are going to get inhaled into the engine. So I still have to do a little bit of filing on that to get that thing absolutely perfect, where I know it's not going to ingest any metal. So I just got a little flat file and a round file. I'm just going to go around and file them as smooth as possible, because you don't want it ingesting even just a tiny little piece of one of those wires. I mean, in all honesty, it probably wouldn't do that much damage, but the fact that it would do damage, period, is just not even worth it. So I'm going to make sure that's nice and clean. As far as things left to do on the bike, I mean, guys, we are coming down to the critical hour here, where it's waiting for the cylinder head. Then after I have the cylinder head, it's going to be things like mounting the radiators, getting the hoses ran, getting all the wiring ran. I have an exhaust coming from one of the YouTube fam. Love you. Kyle up in BC sending me, he had an old Takeoff Pro Circuit system that just needs to be rebuilt and cleaned up. I'll show that when that comes. Hopefully it comes soon with the head. And then other than that, guys, I mean, we are coming down to D-Day, down to the D hour, whatever you want to call it. And I'm pumped. So still just got detailing to do on things like the radiators. They're still just a little dirty, and so I'm gonna Scotch-Brite those, get those all nice and clean, and make them look brand new. As for the bike, though, I mean, it's all coming together so well, and we're almost, like I said, we're almost to D-Day here, guys. It's gonna be before we know it, so I'm really excited about how it's all progressing. So definitely, guys, if you have any questions about the build or about, you know, any way that I can help you, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at LondonX. Also, if you're digging what you're seeing, you're watching the vlogs, just go ahead and tap that subscribe button, tick the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all my latest and greatest endeavors, be it Supercross or be it working here at the shop garage, whatever. So anyways, guys, we're going to get this airbox done and clean, let it sit overnight to let it dry out all the way, and then just going to use some sealant. Like I'm thinking I'm probably going to go get a can of, it's called the Right Stuff. It's by Permatex. So I'm going to seal up all the surfaces with the Right Stuff. And geez, I mean, it'll basically just be ready for the cylinder head. We could just slap everything together.
I sprayed as hard as I could, and I know I sprayed it up in here too.
Right.
And I'm sure on the wall this way,
Yeah.
there's still this kind of crap stuck to it. You know?
Oh, yeah, I see
You
it.
know,
Yep.
it's like-
It's just so gummy.
It is. It's so gummy that it just will not.
Because I know they
come
put
off.
together these things with a little bit of like adhesive sealant, and I'm thinking that overheat, because this is where the exhaust goes right here, that it's heated up the sealant and it's kind of like embedded the sand into it.
Yeah.
And
'cause
so,
you
I
can-
mean, I didn't want to, but we can drill out all these rivets and pull the shell apart and really get in between it. That would be doing it 100%.
That would be guaranteed. Because the bottom part of this thing, there's just no way to get
Right.
all the way to the back side enough to really. I mean, I sprayed as hard as I could with that, but it just.
Yeah.
I'd hate it to suck up any sand.
Yeah, well, I mean...
But I mean, it would have to go through the air filter.
Yeah, it would still have to
again,
go through the
too,
air
but
filter and, you know, all the induction side of everything.
if
The
we
air
blow
boot's
it
all
off real
clean.
good, we'll have to look at it and see if we might be okay if we blow it off real good.
Well, we can take the air hose to it and blow it off and see
Yeah.
just how bad it looks after. The air boot, after finished cleaning, it came out really nice, to the point where I can run it and not have to be worried about it. I still have the injector out because I want to hook up a 9-volt battery to it with some brake cleaner and spray it out. But as for this is clean and ready to go back on the motorcycle. All right, guys, some more work done since you seen last. Shift levers on, brand new chain rollers on there. I got the engine case covers on, or case guards, and the airbox is all clean. And Robert's blow drying himself because he's soaking wet, but the airbox is completely clean. So we are ready in that regard to get this puppy on here. We just need an engine to connect it to. We need a top end to connect it to, and then we'll be good, guys. Ugh. So just mounting up the subframe for now so I can check some other things, align some other things. But guys, let me walk back without falling. There is our Kx250f as of tonight. Doesn't look like we got a lot done, but like I said, seriously, all we have now to do is just get that cylinder head on there. I need to cover up that cylinder so it doesn't get any dust down in there. But that is where we're going to leave it. That's going to be our thumbnail. And I am stoked with how much we got done, because that's just a big weight off my back with how truly nasty that was. And now, no more backfire screen. So it's going to be pulling a little bit more air, so that's cool. And thank God I'm going to be getting graphics for this thing, because it's got some chew marks from boots and stuff like that in the side there of the airbox. nothing you could really do about that. If I really wanted to, I can go get some 2000 grit sandpaper, sand this down real fine, and then hit it with the heat gun, and then it comes out nearly like new. But in this case, this is how we're going to fix it. We're going to pop that can of that beautiful SC1 and fixed enough. We'll run it. If you guys haven't smelled that SC1 before, glosses you up and makes you smell good. I like to call this stuff the brand new bike in a can, because after you wash your bike down, you spray this on your bike, all of a sudden everything looks brand new again. And best part is when you go out on the track, it doesn't attract dust and it doesn't attract mud. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by them in any way, but if you guys are looking for a way to brighten up your bike, try this SC1 out. It seriously is like thebomb.com. It works so good. Well, there you guys have it. Part 4 of the Kx250f build. So a lot still to happen this week, guys. I am leaving with Tyler Thursday afternoon to head up to Oakland. And you know we're going to be vlogging. And this time we got a place to upload that has good Wi-Fi. So I'll be able to get those vlogs up, guys. So be watching for that. We don't have press on Friday, but we will have bike prep. And then all of our, you know, usual shenanigans before the race. That always is fun to keep in touch with, guys. So I'm mumbling and I'm disconnected from my brain because it's like 42 degrees out here, which in California is freezing cold. There might as well be ice on everything right now. And yes, that's why I'm wearing gloves, is because I'm a pansy and I can't handle cold. So I'm gonna go inside where the heater's on, get warm, call it a night. But I'm stoked with everything that's happened on the Kx250 tonight. It doesn't look like much, but trust me, it was a lot. At least 6 hours of work. A lot of guys don't understand what goes into, you know, making a bike brand new again. And the cleaning process alone is just hours and hours and hours. We still got a lot of things left to do, guys. Like I said, we got exhaust coming. Like I said, from Kyle up in British Columbia. Thank you so much. He's gonna be sending me that Pro Circuit Pro Circuit. I think it's a T4 system, or it's just a standard stainless system. Either way, I'm stoked to get it. So thanks a lot, Kyle. Then also RTS Race Prep on Instagram. Make sure you guys check out RTS Race Prep, because at Anaheim too, I got to meet him. Really cool guy named Reed. He went and took the rear caliper, front caliper, and then the master cylinders for the front and rear, and he is Cerakoting them for the Project Kx250f. So please make sure and go and drop him a follow at RTS Race Prep on Instagram. Guy does some really fantastic work. He's been in the moto industry for a while and definitely knows his stuff. So I'm going to end it there, guys. I love every single one of you. Later on this week, hopefully tomorrow, I'll start shooting the head going on, and then as soon as I get the head, guys, then I'm putting on the pipe, I'm putting on the gas tank, I'm putting on the filter. Even if I have to use the old exhaust, if the other exhaust isn't here yet, I'm going to fire this thing up. I want to hear it run, and I want you guys to hear it run with me. So strap in, check in, stop by, like, comment, subscribe. Love every one of you, and I will talk to you soon. Peace out.